Get ready to train your memory systems and your memory palaces like never before. I'm super excited to share this new part of the site. There's so much to it. So the first thing is that you could create different systems, card systems, number systems, binary, alphabet, names, words, memory palaces. Something for words and names that's a little bit different is that there are 60 languages you could pick from. And the thing is, you could get pre-filled common names. So for example, if I go English and I create my system and say I want to be able to recall the imagery for my name, say like in 2 seconds, I can set that goal for myself. So say I create a system and boom, right here, it creates all the names for you. And it's also categorized between males and then females names. And you could filter through depending if it's completed or not. So for example, if I type just a word here and do completed, incomplete, that's gone. And so you can see how this helps you a lot, especially when you have a lot of names that you still have to fill out. It's only going to show you which ones are incomplete so you could finish filling out your system. And if you want, you can also add names that you want to add. And so you could just expand the system as much as you want. And of course, you could change your name, be like English names, and then that will save. And so you go back, you have your other system, and then the brand new system you created. And so, for example, I do need to create a binary system. So I go binary. I actually take 6 digits at a time. And for binary numbers, cards, you could choose what kind of system you're going to have. Is it going to be PA, PO, PAO? For me, for binary, I just have a PAO. I'll just call this a binary PAO. And again, I can set my target speed, probably 5 seconds, because it's going to be a little bit harder for me to build up and recognize what my images are for binary. Create system, and there you go. And so what's different about a PAO system is when you click incomplete, so say if I just put 1 for the person, it's still incomplete because all of the parts of the system need to be completed. And so if I do incomplete now, you can see it goes away. And you can also add images if you want to for any of your systems. And so that's really cool if you really want to get your images down, have that image there to really burn it into your mind that that's what that specific card, number, word, name represents. Now, that's just the beginning. Oh, I guess I can show you how to create a palace too. So if you go to memory palace, you could type, whatever it is. Maybe it's like house. Then what's really cool is you get to pick if you're just going to have images you want to upload or if you actually have a video that you have your palace, so you can upload that. And the same thing, you have a goal for how fast you want to be able to recall your locations. So you just say 9, for example, and we'll just do standard images. And then all you have to do is click the add location and fill it out. Give the location a name if you want to upload a picture. Also, if you want to store something in the palace, you can just write what you're storing in the specific location, right? And up here, you can see that we have tags. So like I have a tag for 25 because I have palaces that are 25 locations long. Then you can edit, you could delete them. When you delete it, it deletes that tag from all the palaces that have it. And so there's a lot of stuff you could do there. You could change the name. It's really, really cool. So let me actually show you one of my palaces I have right now. So I go to edit. This is the video I put in, and you put that video in, boom, instantly pops it up. And then I have all my different locations. And so I name them whatever I want to name them. I'm storing nothing in these locations specifically, like information I want to keep long-term. This is more just for training stuff. But if you want long-term information, that's why there is a section for what are you storing here, So like if you were storing the elements of the periodic table of elements, number 1 would be hydrogen. You could be like hydrogen and so on. And why that matters is because I guess actually let me go and just say, I don't know, cow. Okay, so I'll go cow, and then I go, and let's say I want to train. Now, this is where it gets really, really cool. You have all these different train modes you could do. Space repetition, like Anki. Right now, I have nothing to review because I already reviewed this, okay? But it's going to automatically, when you click this, it's going to let you know if you have something to review or not. Drill is just kind of old-fashioned. Let me just go through my locations or images for my systems, and you can do random, you can do order. You could pick if you want to do all your locations, or not. And so it's really the kind of the basic drilling you would do, you know, let me just go through my pal, see how fast. And then you have something down here for visual settings where you can reveal your answer, and that'd be like, okay, you can see your image, you can see your location, or the text that you have for the location, like you could call it the bed or the counter, or whatever it may be. Now, the quiz stored info, that is when you actually get to quiz yourself on what you're learning, what you're storing there. So you could pick what you want to be shown, if it's the location, the name, the image, or all that stuff. So let's do location, let's do ordered, and you could show timer if you want to see the timer kind of going when you're going through the training. Allow going back means that you're able to go back. So say if you went forward 5 cards, you're like, wait, let me go look at that first location again just to make sure I know it, or I remember what was stored there. You could go back. If you have that off, you can only go forward. So we just say allow going back, okay? So let's get started. So remember, I am quizzing myself what I stored here. I'm like, okay, I think I stored a cow. Go next. Shows me what I stored, right? And then obviously the same thing would be happening for all the locations if I had stuff. And so if I go through all of this to the very end, it gives you a quick overview of what you reviewed. I reviewed 25 items because I have 25 locations. But if you were to go back, you know, like, okay, let me go back to the first 5, and you went all the way back, this will actually say 30 because you reviewed 30 different items, right? But it also lets you know, hey, you reviewed 25 unique items, and then gives you the time and all that. And so that's what's so cool about that. You have so many different ways of training. So that was drill. Eliminator is you're going to have a specific amount of time that you're going to pick, that you're going to see a card for it, right? You're going to keep seeing this card, and if you go over this time, it's going to be returned back into the deck. And so I think the easiest way to show this is, let me just do 1 second, okay? And then I can pick how many locations I want. Let's just say I want to do the first 3, okay? And I can do them random. And since I'm not quizzing myself on stored info, I just want to, you know, practice the locations, okay? So, okay, I will be given the locations 1, 2, 3 in a random order, and the answers are going to show me the text, okay? And so we just take off allow going back. Now remember, this is eliminator, so I need to be able to recall my image before 1 second. If it's 1 second, it's going to come right back into the deck. So let's get started. And one thing to notice too is that right here, 3 items selected, because I went from location 1 to location 3. So this lets you know how many things you're going to be reviewing if you just want to make sure everything is correct. Okay, I got 1 second to do it. I don't remember. Oh, it's the desk. But if you look up here, 0 out of 3, nothing happened because I didn't beat that 1 second time limit I put for myself. Same thing for this one. But if I go fast, right? There you go. I was able to complete those ones as quickly as possible under that 1 second time limit. And this is what I was talking about before. So it shows you all your results. I reviewed 6 items, but 3 unique items I reviewed because I was doing 3 locations, but I had to keep doing a couple of those same locations because I was having trouble recalling the imagery, recalling my answer, you know, whatever it may be in that 1 second I gave myself. So let's go to the last training mode. This was pretty cool. So this one just loops through the information just nonstop. Okay. Or I guess not necessarily nonstop unless you select endless mode, but you could pick how many cycles you want to go through. If it's just 1 time, 2 times, you know, whatever it may be, how fast you want to go through everything. If you want to see each item for a second, 10 seconds, and everything else is pretty much the same with all the settings. So we're going to do, let's do 2 cycles. We're going to see everything for 1 second. We're doing location 1 to 3. Let's get started. So you see how it's going quickly, right? Because I put 1 second. And you can see that review or the reveal button, but that doesn't really mean much because I could click it, but if I don't have enough time to do it, to acknowledge it and at this specific speed, right? I'm like, oh, great. And so that's why you really could adjust the settings on what you want to do because maybe you didn't want to reveal the answer. So you don't have to worry about that. And so when you go again, now you have no buttons there, right? For revealing or anything. So that's what makes it really, really nice is that you could adjust it. So maybe you wanted to do 10 seconds. So you're able to reveal reveal your answer, So that's what makes it really, really cool. And so we have the same kind of thing going on with the systems as well. But there's a little special things going on when you have a PAO system or a PO or PA, whatever it may be. So you still have all the same training modes. What's nice here is that, say you're filling out your system. So say, for example, let me just go to names, because I believe I just typed one random thing in. You can skip all the blanks, okay? So what that means is that you're not going to get every single name, because maybe you didn't have all the names filled out. So you only want to train what you have filled out. So if I click this, we look down here, 548 items selected, skip blank items, 1. And that's because I typed in my one image for that name, and that's it. And so you're able to do that just in case, you only want to specifically train or look at your image, your system that you have completed, which makes sense, right? But maybe sometimes you just want to look through the data and just practice it, see what could come to your mind when you're seeing these names, whatever it may be. But that's why you're able to have that setting for what you want, okay? So let me go back to my alphabet PAO. So I was talking about how there is something special for like a PAO or anything like that. And that is, you could train different parts of it specifically. And so say I just want the action to my PAO. And so if I go here and let me do drill, just basic, training, straightforward. And so if I start here, okay, I'm trying to recall my action. So this is grill, reveal answer, grill. And so this is showing me specifically my action for this letter. It's not showing me the person, it's not showing me the object, because I selected I want to be tested on the action. I'm only going to get the action as my revealed answer. So this is 8. Or eat, my bad. Eat. This is a sting. And so that's what's really, really cool, that it actually tests you on that specific thing and shows you the relevant answer. So if I exit the session, which is just fine, it's going to give you, hey, this is what you did in that session. Train again. And I go to object this time. And you could do a combination. We want to do action object. Let's just do action object, okay? And so what's cool about this is that you could pick how many letters you want to see. So if I'm doing action object, I'm going to do the action from the first letter, the object from the second, right? Or if I want to do like a full PAO reading, I could do that too, but it's a little bit weird when you only have 2 out of the 3 selected. So let's go back to 2. And so remember, I'm doing the action and object. And might as well just point this out. Another cool thing to do is like the spacing between the letters and all that stuff, if you want to adjust that stuff. Okay, so let's start training. Okay, action object, surfing, mustache, must. Surf, must. And so it makes it so you can really tune in your training to what you want to train, what you want to improve, your weak areas. So that's what's so amazing about this. You have so many different ways to set up your training. And it's really, really nice because it makes you really look at, okay, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to work on? Let me really practice this specific thing. Instead of just like having one basic training, like, okay, I'm just gonna always see like all the letters, just every single letter. And I just have to mentally kind of switch things through. Oh, this time I'm just doing the person. Oh, this time I'm just doing the action. This actually shows you it. So when you have reveal checked as your setting, it's going to show you the relevant thing that you're working on. So what happens with all this training sessions that you're doing, all your data? Well, this is where it really, really gets amazing and useful for you. And so if you go to stats here, and it works for Palaces too, you go to stats, you're going to get a lot of information. So you're going to get heat maps. And what these heat maps are showing you are areas that you're having trouble with, your images. So if I look at my full system, right, overall, you can see I'm struggling with E sometimes, S, J, W. But remember how we're able to select different parts of the PAO, and this applies specifically to any system that is like any version of a PAO. You look at it, you could go through and see what different parts of your system you're struggling with. So with person, you see I'm struggling with J, right? But the action, I'm doing pretty good. But then with the object, I'm struggling with J. that is so useful to know what area you are struggling with, what part of your PAO you're struggling with. And that's what's super cool, because this lets you know visually, hey, what areas am I struggling with? What system, what letter, what number, what card, what name, whatever it is, you're able to see what you're struggling with right away visually. Anything that's more towards the red, you're not doing that hot. Anything that's really deep green or going towards that deep green, you're doing great. And then of course you're able to filter, depending on like what your levels are, anything critical, have nothing critical, slow, below. So you're able just to see exactly what you want to see, and then you can filter through the specific parts of your system. And so the heat maps are really, really useful when you're getting all this information and want to make sense of it. You're doing all this training. Great. I think I felt kind of slow on J or E or F. And if you don't have the heat map, you really don't know unless you're making a note at the time. But with this stuff, with the heat map, you're able to see exactly what you're struggling with, which is really, really cool. And then up here, you're able to change your different speed goal. So maybe I'm trying to recall my images within 5 seconds, right? That's the goal I have. But this is really cool. So say I want to go to 2 seconds. Well, look, everything updates instantly to let me know, hey, you're not close at all to reaching that. You're having a lot of things, you're above that, which is perfect because it lets me know, okay, how close am I to reaching this new goal on my current training? And so this heat map updates in real time to let you know, hey, you're struggling a lot at that time for a lot of these items, or you're doing pretty good. And so then you're able to focus on those specific items. So you could train them more, practice them more, just to make sure you really, really got them down. Now, there's another thing we have right here, accuracy goal. So that's how accurate you're going to be within your speed goal, right? So if your speed goal is 5 seconds and you get 90% of them within that time, that's what this accuracy goal is for. Now, this is useful for your graphs because now we have a graph section. And so you could look at the 4 different graphs. Session is how much time it took you for your different sessions. So you could filter it by how many sessions you've done, the last 5 by default. You could do all to see your whole history of it. This average line is telling you, on average, it's taking me about like 83 seconds for my different training sessions. But you can take that away if you want. You could filter through the different modes to see how much time you're spending training for the different modes. The accuracy trend is specifically for drill and eliminator because this is where you're trying to meet a specific goal, right? And so you can see over here that my accuracy definitely went down because I was doing some of just those trials and totally messing up, right? and so that's totally fine. But you can see, what's my goal? I said I want to go 90%, okay? And so you can see that right now, the average based off all my other trials is 74%. Now, the reason this line is gold is because I had some trials that already reached 100%. So it's letting me know like, hey, you already reached that. But if I go on and continue to go lower and lower for the next couple of trials, then it's not going to be gold anymore. And I believe, yep, if I go to the last trial, which I did not do that great, right? Now this goal line is not gold anymore, right? Because I have not reached it based off my last couple of trials. So that's what's really cool. This updates in real time to let you know, hey, you're making it, you're not making it based off whatever trials you're making me show you. Then the next graph is a training volume. It's just showing you how much items you're training, okay, per training session. And so you can see the last ones, I only did like a few because I was just kind of showing you stuff. But before that, I was doing 26, and of course it's showing me my average. On average, I'm doing 13 items per training session, and of course the same thing. You could do all, you could pick what training sessions you want to see and all that stuff, and you have these different modes to do that. And then the last graph you have is your speed improvement. How fast are you going? And so you have your goal, right, of currently I have 3 seconds. And so it's gold because at one point I reached under that speed goal I had. Now, of course, if I go to the same thing, if I limit it, it's not gold anymore because I have not reached it on the current sessions I am showing. And then, of course, you can take your goals off or your average line, but it's showing you over, if I do all, all the trials I've done so far, I'm about 6 seconds, on recalling my images for my system. And so you have so much information here that you could look at to analyze, to see where are my weaknesses, what's going good, what's not going good. It's so useful. And then, of course, we have history. So you can just look at the history of all the stuff you've done so far. And of course, you could filter through the different stuff that you've done. You can pick the different date range. And then it shows you the accuracy in respect to what your goal was at the time. So say if you change your goal to like 2 seconds and we just had the accuracy, you'd be like, wow, my last couple ones, I've done 92% at the goal of 2 seconds. Well, that's not the case because at the time it was at 5 seconds. That was my goal. So that's why this is really useful because it shows you, you're changing your speed goal throughout time, right? Hopefully you're getting faster and faster, faster, but showing you the relative accuracy you had at that time. And so it's really cool and really awesome to have all this information, actually seeing something that's useful, because just doing your training sessions and not having any data to look at, not anything to really digest to see where you can improve, you have everything here. And that's what's so amazing with this, that you have so many things you could look at, so many things to fine tune, find your weaknesses so you can improve them. And you have so much information here to help you reach your goals. And there has never been any other site, any other training that has this kind of analysis you're able to do with your systems. So I am so excited to share this with you. If you have any feedback, any improvements, anything at all, I would love to hear it. There's so much more I would like to add. But I want feedback to make sure I'm getting the things people want, people would like to have. But I think I covered a lot of stuff just with this already. But I would love feedback just to make this the best system training you could possibly do. And it's really cool that you could do the same thing with your memory palaces. That's what's really awesome. And so we go with memory palaces. It's the exact same thing you have. The different graphs, different history. You can see here where I'm having some struggle with my locations, right? Which location is a little bit worse, which is huge, because if you're struggling with your memory palaces and you can't recall your locations quickly, guess what? That's going to be a limiting factor on how fast you actually memorize something or recall something, because it's taking you so long just to remember that specific location. And so this lets you know, hey, I'm struggling with location 19, 20, 23, 25. I need to really make sure I'm going through and reviewing to make sure all these are strong. So when I memorize something, that location comes up instantly and I don't have to spend a lot of time trying to figure out what that location is. So there's so much stuff here. Definitely explore it, try it out. I would love feedback. I'm just so excited that this is actually live because I worked so long on it. So hopefully you're ready to take your memory systems, your memory palaces to the next level.